I would say that Tribe Called Quest was definitely the fathers of a whole new brand of hip-hop. They completely mastered the form and culture of what hip-hop is supposed to be.
Up to then, rap was maybe more about like boasting, and they came out and it was like party records, but doing it with a consciousness.
Everything about that was magic.
I'll tell y'all a little story.
Tell us, Corey. Okay. Uncle Corey.
All right.
Hold on while I go to the bathroom.
These things.
Sit down. You gonna listen to this?
These things never play out well.
All right. Back in the day when he was a teenager, before he had status and before he had a pager, you could find him listening to hip hop. His pops used to say it reminded him of bebop. Now, anybody who knows those lyrics knows that I'm talking about Q-Tip.
Okay, I was going to say whoever knows that is old enough to remember pages.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought you were like quoting Rudy Ray Moore for a second.
Was that the lyrics to the jingle for Q-Tips?
Yes, Cyrus, yes.
I don't understand how that applies.
That was before your
That
day.
does not make me think my ears are dirty.
Oh, you know those crazy commercials back in the day. No, this is from their song Excursions. Now,
whose song Excursions?
A Tribe Called Quest.
Oh.
The band that we're talking about, on which this documentary is based on. It's and if you're a Tribe Called Quest fan, and I don't know if any of you are in here, but I'm a huge Tribe Called Quest fan.
Had a few good songs.
Yeah, what you say? They were all right.
Yeah,
I'm aware that there was a band called Tribe Called Quest, and they had these things called songs.
Exactly.
So it's not a tribe; it's a band.
Yes, you have to say the whole name. If you don't say Tribe,
You can't. I can't call them the tribe, or I can't call them Quest.
You
have
think
to
there was
say,
a point they would have just changed their name to Quest, right?
no,
because
yeah.
it's like, we get it. You were formerly known as Tribe,
God
and now
damn it,
you're
y'all
Quest.
don't know nothing about this band.
Leon, you ain't got no street cred.
I know. Gee, give me that chain right here. You don't deserve to wear that.
Hey, man, I bought that at a Woolworth.
I painted that gold with my own spray paint. I bought my own money. No. Tribe Called Quest, I guess they debuted in 95, 96, and the name of this movie is Beats, Rhymes, and Life, The Travels of A Tribe Called Quest. Their first album, I believe, was called Beats, Rhymes, and Life. And that album...
Wait, was it called an album called Beats, Rhymes?
No, it was not called an album. Even though you should say it like that for now. No, it was a great...
the 90s, so it would have been like a cassette called.
Yeah. If you know anything about hip hop, again, it was during that time when you had a lot of people who were coming out during what they had called the native tongues. You know De La Soul, right?
Yeah.
De La Soul. They had
Me, Myself, and I.
Yeah. Even Queen Latifah, Moni Love, the Jungle Brothers. All these guys were part of like this new bohemian movement that was going on in hip hop. While you had like gangster rap going on, and you had like a lot of political rap and socially conscious rap, and
On the other
you had that group that used to sing "A Lovely Day, A Lovely Day, A Lovely
Oh.
PM Dawn." PM Dawn, right? That's it.
No.
That's not the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. Although they were kind of close because they were part of that image of like, okay, we're not trying to be hard. We're not trying to do any of this. We're doing our own thing. And so you had this new emergence of like this.
I think on the other end you had Will Smith. He had the Fresh Prince.
Oh, yeah,
So that maybe they were trying to come in somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, they weren't
this
that.
was still falling under the catch-all group of bands that Cyrus did not listen to.
Yeah. No, this was back when, they weren't like happy rap. They were, but they weren't like that family kid happy rap that, even though looking at Will Smith's money, they probably wish they were today. But no, this was like this new bohemian, almost like neo soul rap that was coming in. And they were using a lot of jazz samples, a lot of old R&B records, and Tribe was clearly the leader of that. And after several records, I mean, they created some like, classic albums. Again, if you know this band, like the Low End Theory was like a huge album for them. And then afterwards, when you thought they couldn't do that, they like made Midnight Marauders, which they were at the point in their careers where they were so huge in hip hop that album cover had all these figures of hip hop, historical figures of hip hop, where everybody was like, damn, if you are somebody in rap or a DJ or hip hop or anything, you were on that album cover.
Even Weird Al Yankovic?
Even Weird Al Yankovic was on there.
This was the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band cover of black people?
Kind of. You know what? You say that, but Weird Al Yankovic went on that cover.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But you know what? I'm going to buy that album for you, and I'm going to tape his head on it.
Tape him right next to the Fat Boys. That'd be awesome.
With the Fat Boys on it?
I think the ones who didn't eat themselves to death were on there.
What about Two Live Crew? Crew.
Yes, I think somebody from 2 Live Crew was on there. I forget who's on there. I just remember like the
Not NWA,
the
though. They
Beastie
were like,
Boys on there.
Shit.
Yeah, they like get that fucking album out of my face.
We're gonna shoot some motherfuckers. Up in
They
this
shot
album.
the guy who brought him that album.
Tell you what, here's my part on the album.
Yeah, there's 3 bullet holes in it.
Yeah, there I am right there. But man, they are considered almost like for their influence and their endurance in hip hop history. They are seen almost like they've been compared to the Rolling Stones of hip hop. And
By themselves, to be fair.
what's that?
By themselves, to be fair.
No, no. That's what I'm saying, man. Really, none of you guys are probably into hip hop like I am, but these guys are major figureheads in hip hop. And anybody who grew up in the '90s, and that's the other thing, they had like a lot of cross appeal. So this is one of the few bands at the time who were like, not outside of things like gangster rap and like that fucking happy rap that Will Smith is doing. They were also crossing over with like the college crowd.
Yeah,
because they were getting a lot of college radio play, and because of that bohemian spirit that they had in their raps, and their style and their rhymes, they were appealing to a lot of people.
I often heard them referred to as jazzy rap or throwing jazz into it as an appeal to, white people.
Well, I like stuff like that.
They're not those scary gun-toting rappers. They're the friendly, bohemian, jazzy, freestyle rappers.
I just liked it because after a while with gangster rap, I'm like, all right, you poor and you mad. Enough already. This and that with an attitude. I'm tired of stuff with an attitude.
How do you make records if
Get
you're always
over
getting arrested?
Exactly.
Yeah. No,
Can I see somebody rap without scowling at me?
What I'm curious about as far as this as a movie, because God knows I've seen a lot of like sort of a look back at a band documentaries and that sort of thing, or even current ones, and 9 times out of 10 they are just tedious as hell, whether you like the band or not, or they're just incredibly self-serving, they're not very honest. I'm curious to know how this actually represents this band.
Well, I'm talking about this. I'm putting this all in context. Like, I'm talking about their influence. I'm talking about their part in hip hop history. I'm talking about their crossover appeal. All this stuff needs to be known because this movie is not really. It is half of this movie is about how they became, the rise to stardom and how they became the figures they are in hip hop history. But the other part of the film is how infighting tore the band apart. And it's just kind of like watching that Metallica movie, some kind of monster.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Which is the best. The best thing you want to see with a documentary like that is seeing how these guys interact, understand why they broke up, and a lot of times a great documentary will show you why these guys broke up because man, they cannot be in a room with each other for more than 5 minutes.
Well, that's what happens here, and it's sad because the band is. It's made up of 4 members. Q-Tip is the obvious leader. Phife Dawg comes in second. Ali Shaheed Muhammad is like their DJ, and he's kind of the quiet guy in the band, like the quiet composer. And then you had a guy who came in and out, Jerobi White. Now, most of the time, Jerobi White is not there. It's these 3 other guys. And it's Q-Tip and it's Phife Dawg that are at each other's throats. I mean, they make people wait on stage because
Paul
they're
McCartney,
fighting.
John Lennon.
Yeah, I was going to say, it
Yeah.
sounds like Let It Be.
And it's very similar to that. And a lot of people have compared them to the Beatles because of the tumultuous relationship that goes on behind the scenes. These dudes, man, like Q-Tip is the guy who, he's the leader. He's the creative influence on the band, except that he talks, the Phife Dawg feels like he's being talked down to by him and feels like he doesn't have enough influence on the band because he's being stifled by Q-Tip, and Ali Shaheed Muhammad is just sitting up there the whole time just like, I just wish these guys would get this shit together because I feel like I'm watching my parents fight right now.
It's so funny you say that because if you watch that Metallica that documentary, it mirrors exactly what you're saying, at least with Lars and James Hetfield, where those two are always going at it, and the guitarist Kirk Hammett is like, I wish you guys would just get along already.
Well, that's the thing about it. It's a band, and it's not unusual for bands to fight this way. I mean, except that the difference between something like the Beatles and Metallica and A Tribe Called Quest is that they made it. They have a lot of money, and this movie is a constant reminder of like how fame and money just cannot help, whatever is going on between individuals within the band itself. No matter, because you're thinking like, fuck man, what y'all fighting for? You got money, I'm sure you get a lot of chicks. I mean, you live in a rock and roll lifestyle. What's the problem?
Because fame leads to ego.
Yes,
and it's almost unavoidable that that's going to happen, especially at that level of fame. And that ego crosses over even versus people who were your best friends previously. They're like, I'm sure these guys, the reason they're in a band is because they were good friends originally. And shit, man, it starts being like, no, I'm the alpha dog.
For me, I felt like, you know what, we've probably exhausted every effort that we can here, and just on a creative level, like, yeah, this is not working out. So I was at peace with it the moment Tip said, yo, I don't want to do this anymore. So it's a matter of, I understand. I love you. Love you too. Once that was over, Phife had a different perspective, but I felt like, weight lifted off my shoulder. We were preparing for a tour, and it was just like, okay, so now what?
Yeah, that's how that shit happens. It breaks apart.
I'm just laughing at how Cyrus said that.
Dog. He said it more white. Dog.
Who's the man now, dog?
that white meter broke.
I know. Shit, even if he had a dog and called him like that, the dog would be like, God damn, you white man.
Just call me Wolford, Mr. Wolford.
I'm not calling. That dog would be like, I'm not coming until you put some bass in your voice.
So they'll fight until they get to be where the last album was called A Tribe Called Fuck You.
Well, we see it. I mean, another major milestone in hip hop was NWA, and we see how people like Dr. Dre and Eazy-E hated each other to the point where they were making videos about each other openly, expressing their hate for each other. And at one point,
our future? Is that what we're going to do? We're doing animated
we do it already.
I was about to say, it's not happening already right now.
Yeah. Somehow we still have managed. We're too broke to actually split up yet. We're still waiting to make that money before we can. We're looking at each other like, man, we ain't got enough money to break up yet. We can't afford to do that.
I'm getting real tired of your shit.
Can't afford
Leon.
To go. Yeah, but
It's gonna be his first solo album will be called like Ram, and it'll have Corey holding Goatsy by the horns.
Cyrus is gonna make his solo movie reviewing career.
And I'm gonna have 3 albums called Fuck Corey, Fuck Leon, and Fuck Cyrus, all available on the same date.
That's funny, man, because you're working on an album called Fuck Co-Host. Nobody tell him about that.
That shit better be good.
Y'all
Do your ass.
each other after they come out.
We're not splitting up till I'm making enough money to pay a lawyer. And then that shit is on.
I'll let you talk to my lawyer.
Like I say,
he's cheap.
I'm still waiting to buy my ego. I can't even afford that right now. But I guess what makes this a little different from something like Some Kind of Monster and other
Let It Be.
other projects that we see is that the director, first of all, Michael Rappaport, the actor.
Oh, really? Michael Rappaport directed this?
Yeah. Well, probably the most famous wigger out there. It's
true.
He directed this, and he directed this because he loves this band. And it shows because
Come on, guys, give me some street cred.
He's actually in there making them fight. Yeah, you know what he said about you?
He's actually
I didn't want to
in
say
the
that,
movie,
but he
right?
was talking about your mama backstage.
Yeah. He's actually in the movie, right? Like you see him in the movie, right?
Only briefly.
Oh, okay.
You see him at the beginning where they're doing a Rock the Bells tour, and it's like the big deal about this Rock the Bells show is that Tribe Called Quest reunited, for this tour, and even though it's just for a little while, these guys cannot get their shit together. I mean,
Wow.
they're in 2 different rooms. And Michael Rappaport, this is gold for him on camera. But even you could tell he's sad to see this. And they're going back and forth. And like one guy's in another room is like, man, I'm not talking to that motherfucker, man. And the other guy's like, did you see what he did on stage? The way they're like, what did he say? It's just the way he looked at me when he said that lyric, man. It's serious like that, man. He's like, he ad-libbed that line right there just to take a jab at me. I don't like that shit. And the other guy's like, I don't know what the fuck I said. I was just fucking singing, all right?
And that is good. You sold, because I love that shit. That's the one thing I really love about seeing like great bands just hate each other. It's like watching like Jersey Shore or something. I was like, I can't get enough of that shit where they're infighting and over the craziest, dumbest thing that don't make any sense.
The thing about it, they show you that at the very beginning to set it up and say, okay, look, we just want to let you know that this isn't all roses. Okay, these guys are not getting along. But then the movie takes you like brings back if you're into this band, you get all these memories brought to you of like it was taking me back to high school, watching all the old videos, going through the discography and looking at these guys talk about how they came together, showing you old high school pictures of each other, giving old stories about
That's
how they used to play
always
basketball, and then even showing you how they just still love making music. I mean, Q-Tip goes to a record store and comes back and shows you, I got the sample for this song from this album right here. Oh, and I'm thinking about doing this with this record here. And it's like, man, these guys love what they do. And to see them have to like later fight is heartbreaking.
That's the saddest thing. I mean, they even, like I said, they did that in Metallica where Lars was like, yeah, you know, me and James, we used to hang out, and they had like old pictures of them, like as kids in the garage with their guitar and drums. And from what you're saying, it sounds like the same shit where you're like, wow, I wonder if these people ever stop and watch their own documentary and just stop and think, wow, what did happen?
You know, watching all these
They probably look at it and go, why does he get more screen time than me?
Yeah, right.
yeah, that could be it too.
Because that's the way.
Why'd they have to use that picture?
Oh, I mean,
Well, the movie does come. The other sad thing about it is to see how these guys have gotten older, you know, how they've changed and how they just physically have changed. Q-Tip pretty much looks the same. Ali Shaheed Muhammad looks better. Phife Dawg has kidney failure and looks nothing like himself. When he, like, I didn't know he looked that way. I saw this at Sundance. He showed up to present the movie along with Michael Rappaport. And when he came up, like, I had seen him through the whole time and didn't know who he was. I was like, who's that guy? And when he came up there, I was like, that's Phife Dawg. And that's where, like, the movie even kind of brings a tear to y'all almost, because although these guys look like they hate each other, Q-Tip and Phife Dawg, they put on a show to help. It's like a fundraiser to help with Phife Dawg's kidney failure.
Damn.
And you could tell, like, even though this is a relationship where these guys look like they hate each other, they love each other to death too. And and the movie comes to a point where you think it might be hopeful for them to continue, but at the same time you're thinking like, man, as cool as it was to see them like get rid of all that old beef and step up to help a friend's life, it's like, I just don't know what's going to happen with these guys.
Yeah. And it's like, that's the most depressing thing about like these bands you grew up listening to, because when the fact that the reality of it is like, these motherfuckers are getting old now. They're getting old. They're losing their hair. They got kidney problems. I mean, everything you just imagine, like legendary groups like this should never have these problems.
It does put another question on things. I mean, makes you think about hip hop in general, because we see old rockers now. I mean, fuck, we said the Stones. Those guys are still going. I just saw Rush at,
Aerosmith, dude.
Aerosmith, yeah. I mean, and we see rockers going, and it's like, does hip hop have the same longevity as that? Because even though Q-Tip looks the same, you know, and he's and has the same energy on stage, it's like he comes out and says, look, this is something where I have to do this. This is my job. I'm not like an athlete. This is all I know how to do. And you wonder, like, that's a good question. How long can hip hop age?
That's the thing, is I think that hip hop is it's almost like technology, and the fact that it evolves so quickly that you can't keep doing the same thing. You have to evolve with hip hop. And whereas rock always is just rock, pretty much. It's like it keeps going back through the same cycles. It seems like hip hop is not really cycling except through sample usage.
Well, we do have classic hip hop now. We got people who are coming together and doing shows. I mean, we still have like Salt and Pepper out there touring. Rob Bass is still out there doing.
Well,
you know
sure,
what I mean?
but they don't have the level of popularity that they want.
Yeah,
and they're probably not going to.
Yeah, they're not going to sell out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Salt and Pepper sure as hell's not. Which
Yeah,
is
Salt
what
and
sucks.
Pepper used to sell out. You know, a lot of it was them in the tight spandex, but they're moms now. It's
Yeah,
like,
no, I know, and that's why you got to wonder. Like, you know, we see people who are still going. I mean, if Dr. Dre was to come out with an album where he's rhyming right now, and Snoop Dogg is like almost. He probably is 40 right now.
I thought you were going to say 80.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's doing more comedy than anything else.
But he's still, you know what? If he was to do a show, he probably would sell out.
He probably still would sell.
Yeah, he would sell out. So it's like
there's a couple people I think who've really stood strong to the test of time, like him, Dr. Dre. You know,
if Will Smith did a concert, I mean, right now.
Yeah, but then again, he's Will Smith.
Will Smith.
But he's
He ain't
Will
the Fresh
Smith.
Prince no more.
Yeah, no, he's not the Fresh Prince, but he still would sell out. I mean, the thing is that this like lets you wonder, like, how long can hip hop people keep going? I mean, it brings us that question. But really, the movie's a full price, because if you are a fan of this band It's sad, yeah, but at the same time, it really is great to go down memory lane with this band and see where they came from. Because there's a lot of stuff that, if you are a fan, unless you're just reading up on them on the internet, there's a lot of surprises that come up that you probably didn't know.
Yeah. If would you say, even if you're not a fan, this would be intriguing enough to hold your interest? Because, I mean, there's been a lot of documentaries with people I've never been interested in, just to where the documentary, it shows the side of these people, how they made it. Like seeing somebody become a nobody into like a megastar. Yeah. I always find stories like that interesting, as long as the documentary is interesting and showing me what these people were about.
Yeah, like
every flaw about them. I like when a documentary shows every flaw.
Well, there's that Harry Nilsson one that came out last year that everybody was talking about, and that I didn't even know who the fuck that guy is, and that's a fucking great movie.
Yeah, you know what? If you're a messy motherfucker like you, just like to see people fight and bicker.
That's right. That's right. That's what sells tickets, brother.
Yeah. Yes. Then and hip hop is still something that has sort of a bias to it. I mean, people like, I don't listen to crap music or hippity hoppity and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you can get past your bias of hip hop, just like I would tell somebody who's like maybe into hip hop, but they told me I like documentaries, I don't like rock and roll, I would still say, well, you know what? You should probably watch that Metallica film. Yeah. It's cool. I mean, yeah.
Well, don't worry. I won't bring Cyrus to the screen.
See, my fear with this is because of what reality TV has done, is where it's just showcased this kind of drama and bickering, even to the point of manufacturing it. But it's so out there that I am so done with it that I'm afraid that even if I go see something that's well made, I'm just going to be like, yeah, just more bickering and drama. I don't need this. You
know what? The bickering is genuine here, though. That's the thing. I mean, you see.
Wait, was Genuine in this group too?
Hey, Corey, just so you know, when you got kidney failure, I will totally show up for a reunion show. I will totally do that for you, man.
I'm taking your kidney.
Yeah, you'll show up in more ways than one.
Yeah. I'll be like, just don't worry. We're going to sleep in this nice hotel here. Just go to bed, and I'll wake up in the morning in the bathtub full ice.
Yeah, I'll be laughing at
I'll leave a phone to your hand. Yeah,
I'll be laughing at the fact that you showed up.
Yeah, you're gonna show up in a bathtub full of ice. Yeah, no. I'll let you use my phone. It's all right. No, it's when you see these reality TV shows, all that fighting seems like somebody has a hand in that. Somebody's manufacturing that. Somebody's stirring up something. No, these guys. It's obvious that they got history.
Yeah.
So when you see it, it's not that at all. It doesn't seem false. It doesn't seem false on any front. And like, definitely a full price for those who are into this band, but it's a full price for people who watch documentaries. Now, if you're the type of person who just says, I'm not into documentaries, I'm not into rap or hip hop, whatever, I don't know what to tell you.
Stay your ass home.
Yeah. If somebody says, like, I don't like movies or music, wait, how would they feel about this?
Jeez, you don't like movies or music.
I don't like people.
I don't like leaving my house.
Like, I just try to picture that. I always love that people put on like their dating profiles. I like music. Like, that says something about
like the
themselves.
Amish.
Yeah. How would you recommend this to an Amish person?
I think Amish, they like Tribe Called Quest. They always play that when they're building barns. You don't know that?
Yeah.
Granted, it's the a cappella version.
They don't raise the roof, they raise the bar.
I think the reason why Tribe Called Quest is still relevant is because it was truth.